I'm Mira Rubin, and I'm here with you on Enlightened World Network. So today's topic, it's Christmas and Hanukkah today, and today's topic is holiday mix. Um, and what we're talking about is the mixed emotions that the holidays can provoke uh, for so many of us. And so it should be an interesting conversation. Before we get started, let's just take a minute or two to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, your molecules, your electrons, creating a brilliant beam of light and energy from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's press our palms together. Vigorously rub your hands together to feel the friction, the temperature, the pressure, the motion, the tickling and tingling as you stop. And allow all those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables us to experience life. Welcome, 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 and happy holidays. And that's actually the topic that we're discussing this morning. The holidays are kind of a mixed bag. Good morning, Rosalind. So good to have you here with us this morning. Welcome. We're talking about the mixture of emotions that the holidays evoke for people. It's culturally, it's supposed to be a time of merriment and celebration and joy, and and along with that, there so many of us experience the holidays as a very poignant reminder of losses, of the people that are no longer here with us to be celebrating the holidays. I think that it's during the holidays that we feel a heightened sense of loss or isolation. Maybe our family is in a happy place. Maybe we have maybe we don't have people in the world to be connecting with and celebrating, or maybe it's just a really deep reminder that there are people that we love that aren't able to be with us. um, Through circumstance, maybe because they've passed. And so there's a lot of social pressure, I think, to put on a happy face during the holidays. And I remember growing up, after my parents separated and got divorced, that the holidays were a very, very difficult time, having to navigate two hostile elements in my family. There was so much emotional conflict, and so many of us have experienced fracturing of our families, and having to make difficult choices and picking sides, and And the holidays kind of shine a bright light on a lot of that dysfunction for a lot of us too. And so it's not a clearly joyous time for everyone. And I don't know that we make space for that and in our zest for trying to make merry. And I think I for myself, for many years, the holidays were a really tough time, and I know that I'm not alone in that, or that I wasn't alone in that. And I just want to acknowledge that it's a difficult time for a lot of people, where we have sadness, or we feel a lack. um it's become a very commercialized sort of time of year, and can be very materialistic. It's a time of gift giving, and there's pressure to give gifts. And yes, I don't want to ignore the joyfulness that is part of the holidays for so many people, but that's sort of the status quo. That's what we're expected to feel. And yet there are lots and lots of people who don't feel that, who don't experience the abundance that so many of us are blessed with, that don't necessarily have um, the the joy. And I think for to be able to recognize that, to be able to face that, to address it with folks that are having a hard time, uh, is probably one of the greatest gifts that we can give people, instead of plastering on a smile and pretending like we're not experiencing the feelings we're experiencing. To be able to acknowledge and embrace each other and support each other wherever we're coming from, right? Uh, it's often difficult for people to be with people who are having challenging emotional times. And I invite all of us to be open to authentic connection. The holidays are a time of deep depression for lots of people, um, largely because of the comparison to others, largely because there is this expectation of celebration. And I invite us all to be sensitive to what's going on with other folks, and to find ways to connect authentically through this period of the holidays. um I just remember the angst, and just wanting to hide, just wanting to retreat from all of it, because I was faced with difficult choices and fractious relationships and confusing emotions, and that was due to the emotional upheaval in my family And even in families that are well knit, there are losses that we experience. There's the going back home and being the 10-year-old again, even though we're adults in our own lives. It's so interesting. I don't I can't remember the exact quote, but it was something to the effect of, if you want to see how transformed somebody is, see how they are with their family, when they go back home, because it's so easy to revert to old patterns and old roles in our families. And I don't think we talk about this enough, because so many of us are just wanting to be able to celebrate and have fun and be happy. And there's often a forced feel to it. This is a time of celebration, so celebrate. And if we can find our path to celebration, that's great. That's great. Maybe we can celebrate each other. Maybe we can celebrate being able to authentically speak what's in our hearts, and to grow our compassion and understanding, and recognize that the holidays can be very challenging for a lot of us. And it's not just black and white, where we can be embracing the celebration and embracing the joy, and at the same time feel the loss, or the losses that we have, or feel the discomforts that we have. And there are many layers to the complexity of our humanness, and especially when there are prescribed times where we're supposed to be celebrating. And I think that it's important to recognize that whatever blessings we have, not everybody even in the blessings, even in appreciating our blessings, it doesn't mean that there aren't other emotions, that there aren't other influences or factors that are part of our experience. And as humans, we're very capable of holding the polarities. Not easy, not comfortable, but we do have a capability of holding contradiction, that we can be joyful and hurting, maybe not in the same moment, but in the same space. And we don't have to pretend that we don't feel what we feel. We don't have to pretend that things are just simple, because they're not. It's not simple. And so, from someone who has experienced the angst of social dynamics, or in the holidays in the past, particularly, somehow things have gotten less complicated for me over the years, which I'm grateful for. But I know that that's not the case for everyone. And just to be acknowledging, yeah, it's complicated, acknowledging our fears, and our love and our joy and our connection and our disconnection and our anxiety. And this is a time of year that stirs things up for lots of folks. Plus, with the new year, we're looking at our lives more collectively. Some of us look at our lives regularly, but as a collective, the new year is a time of review and assessment, looking at our choices from the past and going forward, looking at where we are in our lives. And sometimes that's a challenging reckoning. You know, life offers us many, many challenges and opportunities for growth, many of which are very painful. And in being present to our emotions and our the complexity of these experiences, that can be challenging too. And lots of us want to avoid that because we're afraid of sinking deeply into darkness somehow. And the thing is, we are a mix. So today's talk is called Holiday Mix, because it is a mixture. It is a mixture of inner and outer, of reflection and celebration, of uh, connection and potentially isolation. And for folks who aren't feeling happy, seeing everybody else looking, this comparison thing is where the rub is, because looking at, well, this is supposed to be such a happy time of year, and what's wrong with me that I don't feel happy? Uh, it's a challenge. So for those of us who are having difficulties, who aren't feeling celebratory, I invite you to take the opportunity to just do something good for yourself. Do something nice for yourself. Be gentle with yourself. And if you have people in your life who are struggling, be gentle. And maybe we can muster some deeper love for one another and deeper connection, and recognize that there is a lot of contradiction that is not necessarily reconcilable, and that's okay. You know, we can hold the contradictions, and yet it's really important that we be present to the experience of that contradiction, the confusion, the frustration, whatever it is that's arising around it. It's important to acknowledge the experience and to recognize that these days, I know for myself, one of the things that was very present for so long was obligation. You know, obligatory gifts, obligatory social engagements, and they, because there was such a fracturing in my family at the time, it was very difficult emotionally and very anxiety producing for me. And I'm speaking this just because it was such a challenging experience. And I know that I'm not alone in that. And it's the contrast of the joyousness that we're supposed to feel, in big air quotes, that that highlights maybe the joyousness that not all of us feel. And so the social pressure to pretend, maybe we can relieve some of that. Maybe we can allow ourselves to really experience what we're experiencing, because how do we move through it if we don't allow that it's there? So as far as directions, to be able to get from here to there, we need to know where here is. We need to know where we're starting from in order to know where we're going. And we need to be present to what's really there in order to move beyond it, to dissolve it, to heal it, to resolve it, whatever. And it doesn't mean that we don't have feelings about things. We do. And it's important to be addressing those times, those feelings, those emotions. And maybe we can find a way to do that constructively, where we can support each other through those things. We're in a unique time in human experience, and there's so much. It's just a lot, right? There's so much information, there's so much darkness, there's so much light. We might have to look more actively to recognize the light, but it's there. And it's all there all at once, and it's a lot. And we feel it. So the social constraints can amplify all the feelings, all the feelings. And I just want to invite us all to be generous with ourselves in moving through those feelings. It may be a great time of year, and you may be just able to enjoy it and kick up your heels, and that's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. And it's not like that for everybody. And this time of year makes it even more vividly clear for those folks who don't have the family or the connection, or who are going through especially difficult times, or etc. So I invite everybody to just be grateful for the blessings that you have, and to be compassionate and connected to yourself, with each other, and to use it as maybe there's an opportunity for reflection that allows us to step into possibility from wherever we are, whether we're joyful or bereft, that even, or maybe even especially, in those places of feeling isolated or feeling sad or any of the more difficult feelings, that we can give ourselves grace, that it's okay. It's okay. And to be loving and compassionate to ourselves and each other. And to not try to force yourself to be somebody or something that you're not. Be real. Be real. And allow for the complexity. It's not necessarily a straight line. It's kind of a mixed bag. And that's okay. It's okay. We don't have to pretend that it isn't. We need to allow space for what's real for us, like authenticity, and to be willing to play, even like even if there's a part of us that's sad, to also be able to embrace joy, that it's okay, that we're not betraying anybody. For instance, if we've lost someone, we're not betraying them by being joyful. That we can have all the feelings. And so my wish for all of us is that we can step into greater wholeness, that we can step into greater self-acceptance and greater connection. So that's it for today. I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I go live here each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. And I invite you to please like, follow, and share Enlightened World Network and me. The links are in the description. And it's always a privilege to have the opportunity to spend this time with you, just musing over what it is to be human. So until next time, so much love to you.